Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
And I'm Office Bloke Max.
Here we all three of us together.
Yeah.
If Patreon is your thing, check out the link in the description below. There's absolutely loads of stuff on there. Starts at a bargain price, just
£1.50 a month.
Yeah, helps support the channel, and there's absolutely loads of stuff on there, so check it out if it's for you. Prince Andrew, or formerly Prince Andrew, his name's Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Yeah. He's been arrested. We kind of called it.
Yeah.
Sort of,
I know the video only went out yesterday, but we filmed it the day before.
It seemed to be the way things were going, that they'd be investigating a bit more thoroughly, shall we say. So
I think there'll be another one that's going to be arrested very, very shortly, which will be Mandelson.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's next in line to get arrested.
Yeah.
But there's loads of memes come out today.
I
must have had about, not lying here, I must have had about 60 memes sent to me.
Oh, really?
Of Prince Andrew, yeah.
Right, okay.
From different people.
Yeah.
Well,
And they're all quite funny.
The picture that's come out has been it's just
I
almost
know.
unfortunate.
I know.
It's horrific.
Well, I've even had a meme on that one where it says, when your wife approaches a busy roundabout. He's in the back of the car with that face. Sure, I hear him, sure. Anyway, this is a Watch Mojo take on former Prince Andrew arrested on suspicion of misconduct.
British police have arrested Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, on suspicion of misconduct in public office.
Welcome to Watch Mojo.
That one.
And today
That's
we're
that
breaking down
picture.
the factors that
And I've seen the headline in The Sun. It said, sweating now.
led to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's February
bad picture, that.
2026 arrest. And what happens now?
He was never a prince. For survivors everywhere, Virginia did this for you.
What happened on arrest day?
The former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor,
was
has
his
this morning
birthday.
been
Yeah, it was.
arrested on the Sandringham estate where he was living after having been removed, of course, from the home he was living in Windsor.
The key facts begin on Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Thames Valley Police said they had arrested, quote, a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office, and that searches were being conducted at properties in Berkshire and Norfolk. Police did not name the suspect in the statement, but multiple major outlets identified the man as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew, whose 66th birthday happened to land on the same day.
Let me bring that to Robert Jobson, our royal contributor. James just said it. To his memory, it's never happened in the modern royal family. Do you have any sense that anything like this has ever happened before?
No, they've just had minor road
Charles
traffic.
I, I think.
Princess Anne was...
I think Charles I was the last royal to be arrested.
Really? Wow.
Oh, right, okay. No idea.
What's this current Charles? Is he third?
Third.
Third?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's,
That's like, what, 500 years ago, something like that?
I don't know. Not sure how long ago it was.
arrested over a dog. No, this is truly historic.
Just as important as what the police said is what they didn't say. At the time of the announcement, there was no charge announced, only an arrest on suspicion, with investigators emphasizing the need to protect an ongoing inquiry and urging caution in reporting. Then came the royal response. King Charles III expressed quote, concern and indicated
His answer.
cooperation
I know,
if
right?
requested, while avoiding any detailed comment that could intersect with legal proceedings.
The King says, I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, the authorities, have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation.
The alleged misconduct, what misconduct in public office means.
It's broken down into four elements, and they are these. First of all, that the defendant must be a public officer acting as such. Now, that, in this case, is not, to me, entirely clear, but the police must be satisfied that he is a public, or was a public officer.
The phrase misconduct in public office can sound vague, but in the UK, it carries
He's a trade envoy. Of course he was a public officer. He was the official trade envoy.
You think it was fairly clear, that, wouldn't you, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But I
thought
think-
they'd have to think about it, but...
My thing on this is when you look at people involved, like Mandelson, like Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew, what you want to call him, and other people, this is just the tip of the iceberg. They're going to uncover all kinds of shit on this.
It's the fall guy, isn't it? I think it's just he's the fall guy. He's the one that...
At the moment, well, he's the one at the top of the chain sort of thing, in sort of like being so well known and sort of like, especially around the
They
world.
want this.
So
Everyone wants this. They want him to go down.
Yeah.
And I was reading, I sort of like started reading a bit yesterday on Prince Andrew getting arrested and all this, on what it means. And I sort of like turned over, then it was like, it was the Virginia Giuffre, however you pronounce the last name, Giuffre.
Is it Giuffre?
Giuffre, something like
I think
that.
so, yeah.
Virginia Roberts, let's say, because that was the name when it started.
Yeah.
And it turns out that she obviously died in a bus accident in the USA, in Australia, where they said it was a suicide or whatever. And she'd said before that she wasn't suicidal or anything like that. Anyway, found out that I was talking to you about this morning, Mike. Found out that when she did that interview in the USA, she was interviewed by Savannah Guthrie, whose mother is the one that's been kidnapped and held to ransom.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then he gets arrested, and I'm like, that's not too much of a coincidence here.
Well, it's like, what was the official meaning for when the wonderful British taxpayer paid £12 million?
Someone he didn't know.
For someone
he's
didn't
never
know,
met.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we all know that. We want that back.
Yeah, we should have that back.
Is a specific meaning and a high threshold. It's a serious offense aimed at abuse of public power, not ordinary bad behavior.
The third element is that misconduct must be an abuse of the public's trust in them as an office holder. And finally, the conduct must be serious enough to deserve criminal
This guy looks angry, man.
punishment. So those are the 4 elements of misconduct in a published office. It's very, very broad, as you will gather. It can cover a multitude of circumstances.
Andrew's actions are being examined in relation to his tenure as the UK's trade envoy and whether confidential or commercially sensitive information tied to that work was improperly shared. The maximum penalty often cited for the offense is severe, which is one reason the public immediately reads this as more than a tabloid flare-up. Still, maximum penalties are not predictions, they're a ceiling. The real legal question is whether the alleged conduct, if proven, meets the strict definition and level of seriousness prosecutors and courts apply.
Do you reckon 1 to 3 years?
You mentioned before how this is a huge story, and this is going to be headline news now all over the world, no doubt, for days and days. But the difficulty is that we don't really know very much. We don't know what the police have got. We don't know what the evidence is. We've seen some of the Epstein files releases, the material that's come out recently, which relate to Prince Andrew in different ways. But apart from that fairly limited public information, we just don't know the scope of the investigation. So
Andrew's prior exposure, the longer arc of scandal and reputational collapse.
Quite often, if I was in the United States and doing things, and if he wasn't there, he would say, well, why don't you come and use my houses? So I said, that's very kind, thank you very much indeed. But it would be a considerable stretch to say that he was a very, very close friend. But he had the most extraordinary ability to bring extraordinary people together.
You can't understand the shockwave of this arrest without the long backstory. Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein were not a single photo op. They were a relationship that kept resurfacing at the worst possible moments. The association became especially toxic after Epstein's 2008 conviction, because Andrew was still linked to him publicly in the years that followed.
Well, I ceased contact with him after I was aware that he was under investigation, and that was later on in 2006. And I wasn't in touch with him again until 2010. So it was one of those things that if somebody's going through that sort of thing, well, I'm terribly sorry, I can't be.
So no contact.
No contact.
The reputational collapse accelerated with a 2019
Snake.
BBC Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis, a broadcast so widely criticized that it became a turning point in how the public and press viewed Andrew's explanations and judgment. From there, the monarchy moved into containment mode. In January 2022, Buckingham Palace announced Andrew would lose military roles and patronages, and would stop using His Royal Highness in any official capacity. In 2025, he was formally stripped of styles, titles, and honors, and began being referred to as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. As such, Andrew's arrest lands after years of institutional distancing, with the Epstein link as the through line.
Just that interview there, and the way he's speaking, his sense of entitlement just riles me, man. It proper grinds me.
Well, you can tell
It's just the arrogance of the guy from the off, isn't it?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
The fact his conduct on that, you can't even think about what he's saying. You try to remember the script he's got in his head, and he can't even do it.
Because he's that type of, he's so arrogant, he just thinks that everyone will take notice. They'll believe every single word he says, and he just thinks at that time he thought he was above everyone else, and everyone would just sort of like believe what he said. What gets me,
when he goes to prison, he'll be below people.
Well, anyway, that was I can't believe that's like 8 years ago now. 2018, wasn't it? The Emily Maitlis interview.
She shouldn't have interviewed. She probably shouldn't have interviewed him anyway. It should have been someone different. But I think she's
I
a
would have
bit
got
too,
Paxman onto it, really.
Yeah,
but,
probably Paxman, yeah.
I think no matter what, it would have been in a controlled environment anyway. I don't think it matters.
Well, I don't know. She has some quite whatsy questions.
Yeah, maybe but had the heads up on certain questions, or maybe that was part of the. Sometimes have a prerequisite, don't you? As to right, you can ask me this, and this, but not this. But I don't know. I don't know if there was anything like that at the time.
It was his 66th birthday yesterday when he was arrested as well.
Yeah.
You see a lot of memes there going as well, talking about like how he wrongly identified the policewoman who was arrested him as a strippogram. But the other one was, I wonder if he had to cancel his Pizza Express booking. Where I can't remember what it was now.
I thought we could fill in the blanks on that one, can't we?
Exactly.
That the royal family could not.
Look at his face, man.
I'm just trying to work this out, because you said you went to break up the relationship, and yet you stayed at that New York mansion several days. I'm wondering how long.
But I was doing a number of other things while I was there.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. I've
it was the Marriott. Could have stayed anywhere, mate.
Triggering evidence, what the new Epstein-related disclosures added.
Now, we understand from the latest files released by the US Department of Justice that the former prince forwarded sensitive government documents and commercial information to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. As I've mentioned, Andrew has always denied any wrongdoing. MPs have been taking the allegations acutely seriously.
This case didn't appear out of thin air. Reporting consistently points to the January 2026 release of Epstein-related material attributed to the U.S. Department of Justice as the catalyst that pushed allegations into a more evidence-driven phase. Those disclosures included emails and records alleging that Andrew shared confidential government travel reports with Jeffrey Epstein, tied to overseas visits during Andrew's time as a trade envoy.
In 2010, Andrew appears to have forwarded government reports from visits to Vietnam, Singapore and China to Epstein, according to the recently published files. And the documents also appear to show Andrew forwarded Epstein information on investment opportunities in gold and uranium in Afghanistan.
Those documents allegedly reference material connected to travel in parts of Asia in 2010 and claims involving confidential government reports and commercial information. Document dumps don't automatically prove criminal conduct, but they can provide the kind of specific testable detail that turns an allegation into a viable investigative pathway.
Andrew was seeing trade officials on those journeys to try to boost British business investment in those countries, but handing over information to the financier Jeffrey Epstein, who would obviously use that to his own advantage to make money on the back of what Andrew was doing. And that is where the police believe they have enough evidence now to bring Andrew in for questioning and to arrest him.
Norway as a mirror.
The latest release of the Epstein files contains hundreds of references to the Crown Princess, including personal emails between the two appearing to show a close personal friendship. Now, over the weekend, Crown Princess Mette-Marit issued an apology saying that she showed poor judgment.
To grasp how far this story travels, look at Norway and the very specific way Jeffrey Epstein's name has landed inside another royal household. In early February 2026, newly released U.S. Justice Department files were reported to include extensive email correspondence between Norway's Crown Princess Mette-Marit and Epstein after his 2008 conviction.
Yeah, we knew that the Crown Princess Mette-Marit had a relation with Jeffrey Epstein, but when she commented that and the Crown commented that in 2019, they said that it was very, very small contact. It didn't last very long, and that there were always many people present when they were meeting or talking, so they really minimalized it.
I think someone as wealthy as Epstein was, and the scope he had, I think there's a lot of people going to be in communication with him.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of get that.
Yeah.
And anyone who doesn't get that, you got to understand the system, how the system works.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at people like Mette-Marit and people like that, you want to know what were you discussing with him?
Yeah.
What as a member of the royal family, as a crown princess, what are you discussing with someone like Jeffrey Epstein?
I think the thing is, after he'd been convicted as well, then you think the red flags would go up, and people around him, people who know, because all the people like he'll have lawyers and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they must have been saying to him, "Listen, just stay clear completely."
But if you've got so much invested in it, I'm not talking about just finances investing. I'm talking about time and effort and everything else that's gone with that investment and going into it. It's hard for you to back away from anything because you've got financial investments.
If your financial investments, you have to cut ties completely, then it could cost you a lot of money as well. So I suppose some people were sort of like, maybe toying with how it would affect them sort of like financially sort of thing if they cut ties.
But also secrets as well. You've probably got a lot of secret information that's invested in him, and you want to make sure it's not going to go any further.
Which is where the thing power of money comes in, isn't it? That we know about with all the other people that probably were involved as well. So it's...
in my opinion, the only way the royal family can survive this, in the UK, I'm talking about the royal family, the only way they can survive it is if he goes to jail. If he doesn't go to jail, it's over.
Yeah,
there'd be no more trust in it.
As long as nobody else in the royal family knew what was going on.
I'd have a look at one of the royal family members who recently died, probably a couple of years ago. He was a prince as well, but he went by the title of prince.
Well, they won't do that anyway. But
they should do, because I was saying that for years.
No,
he definitely needs looking at.
That's by the by. But I'm talking about. Well, I'm talking about people that are. I'm talking about people that are alive now. The people that are still sort of ongoing and still maybe in the royal family to do with around the royal family. You know, that's what they need to concentrate on.
When it comes to these trade secrets and stuff like this, that they're saying Sarah Ferguson needs to be able to look at as well. I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I don't know much about her. I don't know how involved she was or anything like that.
I know
she
was married to him.
No, I know. I mean, in the case of sort of like information, what she knew about, because she wasn't a trading boy or anything like that.
She wasn't. But therefore, she shouldn't know much about the information, but let's have a look, see if she did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure they will.
Surfaced that she borrowed Epstein's Florida property in 2013, alongside emails that became a fresh source of embarrassment for the Norwegian royal family. Under mounting pressure, Mette-Marit issued a public apology to those, quote, disappointed by her contacts with Epstein, describing it as poor judgment and acknowledging the strain it placed on the monarchy's credibility.
But what we see now from these emails is that their contact lasted for 3 years. They met frequently, even in Oslo. She stayed in his house in Palm Beach, and they also had quite a frequent email correspondence, which in a form and with a tone that has really made the Norwegians react.
And then, on the day Andrew's arrest dominated headlines, Norway's palace confirmed that Andrew returned the Order of St. Olav he received in 1988, without detailing the reasons. It's not a verdict or a court ruling, but it is the kind of reputational consequence monarchies increasingly face when Epstein-linked revelations bubble up.
This was quite a shock to the Norwegians, because we have several, top diplomats and other persons who have been in contact with Mr. Epstein, but that the Crown Princess has had this kind of contact with him and actually didn't tell the truth the last time she was asked about this. That has really struck the confidence and the way that the Norwegians look at her role and also at the monarchy.
The fallout.
Well, we have a statement this morning, Anna, from the family of Virginia Roberts Giuffre, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "At last, today our broken hearts have been lifted at the news that no one is above the law, not even royalty. On behalf of our sister Virginia Roberts Giuffre, we extend our gratitude to the UK's Thames Valley Police for their investigation and arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor."
Beyond the palace, the loudest reactions came from 3 directions: survivor advocacy, institutional legal voices, and anti-monarchy campaigners. In the U.S., Virginia Giuffre's siblings issued the most emotionally direct statement, saying their, quote, broken hearts have been lifted, stressing that, quote, no one is above the law, not even royalty, thanking Thames Valley Police for their arrest and adding the cutting line, quote, he was never a prince.
Because this person is so high profile, a former prince, it's very important. It's a statement. It's a statement which is hopefully heard in the United States, in the Department of Justice, and Congress, that it is true. No one is above the law. And so it's very important that the UK have, now he's obviously innocent until proven guilty, but it's important that the UK took this step.
In the UK, Prime Minister Keir Starmer also leaned into the same principle, stating that, quote, nobody is above the law, as pressure mounted for any evidence to be fully examined. Meanwhile, the anti-monarchy group Republic claimed the arrest followed a report it submitted to police, framing the moment as a wider accountability problem. Legal commentators also struck.
Did you see that the Gordon Brown, who was the Prime Minister when he was trade envoy, I'm guessing he was.
Was he? Right, okay.
Time, yeah. Because I think he wrote sort of like messages to Epstein as well, criticising Brown.
Yeah.
And even about the way he dressed and the way he looked and his appearance and all this kind of stuff as well was in the emails that come forward. But Brown's now put some kind of statement or testament to the police with additional information.
Right, okay.
And I'm thinking, well, why does it take you till now to give this information? Why did this information rise when you were Prime Minister?
Right, this is information that could sort of incriminate.
Yeah.
Right,
Unless
okay. Well,
he's done a statement yesterday.
Right, okay.
I assume then Gordon Brown will have sort of wrongdoing in that as well, I reckon.
Probably, yeah.
That's why he's probably withheld from putting that in.
They all do. They're all hiding something. And I don't think Starmer's going to be clearing this neither.
Yeah, well, like we say, it's all people in power and with money, isn't it? You know, they're all, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours sort of thing. And they're all sort of, it's an absolute mess, isn't it?
Well, no one's above the law unless you can bring out super injunctions to bin it all off.
Yeah.
Right? So people are above the law, so he's full of shit. That fucking
that's
Prime
a good
Minister.
point. Good
Full of
point,
shit.
A cooler note. Multiple outlets quoted experts warning that misconduct in public office cases can be difficult to prove, even with inflammatory headlines, because
looks well
the
interested in
evidential
that conversation,
bar is
yeah.
high, and the offence is tightly constrained in practice.
Turn into a migrant block.
Of sharing confidential official information are extremely serious. They carry a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. So the process needs to go through the serious
Remember he said that
allegation
photo
of
wasn't
abuse
real.
in a public office. And again, we have to be cautious. The evidence mustn't be prejudiced. They will need to look at that. There are defences, even if documents are shared.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option
all the
to be
pictures they
notified
use in
for
here.
occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. What comes next? Possible charges, court process, and broader precedent.
Yeah, what normally happens is the custody officer will authorise the detention. They will record details, DNA and also fingerprints would be taken. They would have their rights explained. Obviously, he's entitled to free legal advice. I'm sure he's probably got his own lawyers. The risk assessment, because there are cases, obviously, about that sort of side.
From here, the only honest answer is it depends on evidence. Police have said searches are being carried out and the investigation is ongoing. What comes next is a set of recognizable outcomes in UK practice. Investigators can pursue further inquiries, the CPS can authorize charges if thresholds are met, or the case can end without charges if evidence doesn't support prosecution. The Guardian notes that Andrew's legal future hinges on whether formal charges are filed or whether he is released pending further inquiries.
If there are no charges leveled against him in these first 24 hours, there's a possibility we might see Andrew go free. But Mugo, if this is constituting something that's more serious nature, he could be in custody through the next 96 hours. It just really depends on what the police find, what they haven't found yet, what they think they might be able to find over, again, this next 24 to the next 4 days.
If charges were to follow, the case would become a public demonstration of how the UK treats alleged breaches of public trust at the highest social altitude. If charges don't follow, the aftermath could still be severe. Reputational consequences, institutional strain, and deepened public cynicism. Either outcome will be interpreted as a verdict on the system itself, because the precedent isn't simply a royal got arrested. The precedent is whether a royal suspect can be investigated and processed in a way that looks consistent, rigorous, and impartial, with facts, not theatrics, determining the end.
I always say that trust comes in on foot and leaves on horseback, and trust in the media, trust in the police, trust in the royals themselves is probably at an all-time low as a result of what's been happening in the world today. So the king is basically restoring that trust. He said, look, nobody is above the law. The law must follow the appropriate process and take its course.
Which aspect of Andrew's case shocked you the most?
Well, you'd like to think that police have got some sort of evidence if they're going to go in for such a high-profile arrest. I mean, not just done it on the back of one or two emails, I wouldn't have thought. So you'd like to think that they've got something to back it up, because it's so high-profile, they could end up looking a bit stupid, couldn't they, if nothing comes of it. Yeah. So obviously, got to let the process take its course, and we don't know anything. But, you'd like to think that
surely the evidence of what they've got in emails to Jeffrey Epstein from Prince Andrew is enough.
Yeah.
If he's sharing information that he shouldn't be sharing, that's enough.
I mean, I haven't seen all of them. I've seen one or two things, but I've not seen all the information, I must admit. So, I'm not too sure on that.
What my guess is on this, the way I think it's going to proceed, this is just my opinion. I think what's going to happen, he's going to have another charge brought against him in the coming days.
Oh, right, okay.
Probably for similar sort of things, but I think there'd be a separate charge for something else as well.
Right, okay.
And we'll find that out when it happens.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be rearrested and then held without bail.
Yeah, because he's been let out at the moment, hasn't he?
He's been released. Yeah. He's been released on investigation.
Yeah, right, okay.
And they've raided his lodge this morning.
Right, okay. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
so that'll be interesting to see what turns up there then, won't it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I think of their raids on them and me growing marijuana in my attic, 2 different types of raid. You know what I mean? Hey?
Yeah.
I get the cops at 6 a.m. I get cops at 6 a.m. kicking the door in. I think they get a phone call with a taxi service.
Probably send out an invitation first.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you mind if we pop round tomorrow?
Yeah. So it's definitely 2-tier, and we know 2-tier K likes that as well. Yeah. So it's
Jeeves light the fire.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Get that shredded, get them on site. On site shredding.
Oh wow!
But what you've got is I think you're going to see a couple of situations that's going to arise with him where he's going to have 2 charges brought against him. Mandelson's next. Mandelson's shitty. So Mandelson's business global counsel has just gone into administration today.
Oh really?
Yeah. So he knows that he's coming after him as well.
I mean, I think he's got questions to answer. That's for sure. Because the things I've heard, the evidence that's been out there already, you think there's something going on there.
My only hope is we get all this information out across the board, right?
Yeah.
Before they pass away.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
they pass away, whatever. I saw another meme this morning saying that the royal family are deeply saddened by Andrew's car crash that's going to happen next Wednesday.
No, jeez.
En route to prison.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, all this has been bubbling under for years already. With the interview with Emily Maitlis, 2018. So it's it's 8 years already.
I forgot he had that relationship with Q Stark as well.
So did I.
Just mentioned it there.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. It's he was known as Randy Andy, as we said.
That's right.
He was known as that.
Yeah.
So all the red flags were there, really.
That was his nickname, wasn't it? But
yeah,
it's going to run, isn't it? But it's next few days. I think you're right. I think it'd be interesting to see what else comes out of this. So we'll definitely keep on top of it. Anyway,
I definitely think he's going to get rearrested.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Anyway,
yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens. I enjoyed that, though. Right. I hope the little shit goes down.
Very good on Mojo, anyway.
It goes down with Spurs.
True, yeah.
Explains it really well, Mojo. Really good.
Yeah.
Great channel.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.